What's going on, everyone? Jon Venus here, and I'm joined with Darren and Georgie from Vegan and Fitness TV, link in the description box below. Awesome channel. So today we're going to discuss the topic of intermittent fasting, what it can do for you, what are the benefits. So welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Hello.
What is intermittent fasting?
There's different methods of implementing it. It's essentially like we all fast from our last meal of one day to our first meal of the next day. So this is just about like prolonging that duration a little bit.
So we eat within 8 hours and then the rest of the time we're fasting.
A lot of people that do intermittent fasting and bodybuilding at the same time do it just as a appetite control in order to get larger meals in to feel more satisfied. Can it also be beneficial for muscle building?
Yes, totally. Like for instance, during the fasted state, your levels of
Human growth hormone
can go up. It's like about 1000% or something, isn't it? And then it increases like your insulin sensitivity. So when you do eat carbohydrates, your body is better utilizing the energy from those carbs. So it's less inclined to get stored as fat and more inclined to be like soaked up by your muscles. So we're all like spiking our insulin every time we keep eating. Which is the
and drinking as well.
Yeah, if there's calories in it, which is our storage hormone. So we're going to be storing things, but we never get that opportunity to run off any of our stored energy, because once you haven't got the energy coming in from food, then glucagon's released, and then we start running off some of the stored energy, like in our muscles, liver, or obviously ideally from our fat reserves. So it's about creating that balance and that cycle.
There is nothing wrong with spiking insulin, but the problem is that people do it like constantly, so their body never gets a break from it. And
like when it's so frequent as well, that decreases your insulin sensitivity, so your body doesn't like for the glucose uptake, your body isn't utilizing it as effectively, and then like I said, it's more inclined to get stored as fat, which is obviously what we don't want.
So you guys eat 2 meals a day, right? So that for a lot of people sounds absolutely crazy. Why do you not feel hungry when you're only eating 2 meals a day?
We have very large portions, so it's more like about consolidating your calories into bigger meals less frequently. The process was we gradually delayed our breakfast and then worked on removing the snacks, so then it was just 3 meals within the eating window, and then now we've been doing it a few years. It's kind of just ended up for convenience, if not
I think that's what happens with any journey that you're on, when you start with veganism, you end up over time eating different vegan foods. So we're fasting and we started doing it that way, but now it's just sort of evolved, because you just, like, if people want to start fasting, I wouldn't actually advise just to copy us straight away, because this is where we've came over 3 years, so that's quite a long time to get to the point where we're at now.
When you're first getting used to this feeling, hunger actually comes in waves anyway. It's not a continual thing. So during that fasted period, while you're trying to get your body to adapt to it, you'll feel hunger, and then I don't know, 10 minutes later it goes. A lot of things what we think is hunger is more like psychological triggers.
For sure.
Like so smells are really good.
You become used to eating at certain times, so like we'll feel hungry at the times we're used to eating. But then there's other things, like if you you walk past a cake shop, you smell it, then you're like, I'm hungry.
If you have an 8-hour eating window, and let's say you have your last meal at 8, but then you have to work out in the gym at 9 or 10 p.m. A lot of people are wondering if you have to, work out before your last meal, or if it's okay to work out after your last meal and not get that, protein shake within 2 hours of the workout. It's
really just about doing what suits you best, because there are actually benefits to both methods. So there's it's better for fat burn if you don't eat after your workout, and you are depleting your glycogen within your body as well by having a workout, and then you don't refuel afterwards, which means there's going to be a much greater fat burn effect over that duration until you then do eat. However, like if you want to get really technical, then there is slightly more benefits in terms of muscle protein synthesis if you do eat after your workout.
So you can start your fast a lot later in the day, right? And then just have a workout and then have your meal at 10 p.m. if you want to as well. You can. It doesn't matter when your eating window is, right? As long as it's a an 8-hour period.
I think in terms of it feeling like manageable and sustainable, it is better to start your eating window later in the day, so as opposed to like waking up, having food straight away and then stopping eating early on, that feels psychologically harder. Whereas in the morning, it's nice to be able to get on with things. You feel really driven and motivated.
I think most people eat with their family as well in the evening, so that makes it more sociable.
For sure.
Because like most people do tend to have breakfast or lunch on their own.
How does it work with a vegan diet? Because a lot of people think that you know, the vegan diet is very, very low in calories, so you have to have insane portions.
I actually find that I could just eat more calories than my body needs, even with 2 large meals as a female. And especially if you've got lots of fats on a plate, that can up your calories without too much volume. So you can like take out those low calorie things, like say lettuce leaves, and like replace that with more high calorie things like avocados or nuts. Nut butter is good.
Could you explain a little bit what intermittent fasting can do to your hormones?
The main one is establishing this balance between insulin and glucagon, so that our bodies effectively utilize the energy what we're having, and then while like when we do eat, and then in the fasted state you're running off your energy reserve. So at the moment, because we're doing a like low intensity stuff, as in we're just sitting down, aren't we? So we'll be primarily running off fat reserves, but then when we go and train in a little while, we're going to be running off the glycogen which is stored within our liver and muscle. The key thing is just in terms of long-term health, so something known as autophagy, which is the like breaking down and recycling of like broken proteins, broken cells within the body. It's kind of like an internal spring clean, and this is one of the things which
it's like the only really effective way of having an actual detox.
I find it when I'm on a fasted state that I can more easily concentrate on my tasks instead of just like thinking about food all the time.
That's how I feel.
See, interestingly, so as well as it's kind of convenient when you want to be able to just focus on something and not have to keep thinking about, oh, I've got to top up with food every hour or two, there is actually even more to it than that. Like, it increases our levels of what's called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It actually makes your cognitive function sharper during that fasted state, because basically from a survival standpoint, this is what doesn't make any sense, where people say, oh, if you don't eat, your body will start shutting down, because in the wild we'd just die if that happened.
Your body actually becomes more efficient at everything because it wants
you need to seek out food, so you become like more alert and looking.
Well, that brings me to one other point that a lot of people are scared about. Is the metabolism still healthy while only eating, you know, 2-3 meals a day doing intermittent fasting?
It's healthier,
exactly.
Because it's different, isn't it? Like a calorie deficit and fasting, the effects it have on your metabolism are completely different. Like a calorie deficit over time, that will slow your metabolism down. But because of the hormones that are released when you're fasting, that actually like boosts your metabolism.
The thing which makes our bodies slow the metabolism down is if there is like a prolonged caloric deficit, because like our body's sensing there's not as much food coming in, so again for survival it's going to have to down regulate how much energy it's using, but that usually happens by you just feel like you don't want to move as much.
You'll feel like really cold.
You won't walk up the stairs, you'll take the elevator, that type of thing, just so you start using less energy. But as long as you are getting the energy what your body requires to kind of maintain or build, then you actually utilize that energy even better. So it doesn't slow the metabolism whatsoever. It's just it's just a prolonged caloric deficit which slows the metabolism.
There's some studies to show that if you want to use the calorie deficit combined with intermittent fasting, then that offsets the metabolism slowdown. So those two combined, that's why it's so good for people who want to cut.
So obviously it sounds like there are a ton of benefits to intermittent fasting, so I'm sure a lot of you guys watching are interested in implementing this lifestyle. So are there some, you know, tips for people who are interested in this lifestyle?
I think it needs to be incorporated as part of an already healthy lifestyle. So for instance, you need to be getting enough sleep, because otherwise you're going to be feeling exceptionally hungry. You need to focus on like good whole clean foods during the time you do eat, and make sure you introduce it gradually. It can't be something, because we get a lot of comments saying, oh, now trying fasting, I'm eating within a 4-hour eating window, like just straight off, and then they're like, I feel all shaky.
They wonder why they find it difficult, but like we said earlier, it's taken us 3 years to feel comfortable with 2 large meals.
Alright guys, so that's it. We are dripping in sweat. It's very hot here in Spain, so we're gonna end it right now. So big thank you to Vegan Fitness TV, Darren and Georgie. Make sure to check them out. Very, very good channel. One of the fastest growing vegan fitness channels on YouTube, probably the fastest growing, and very, very good content. So I highly recommend it. So link in the description box. Make sure to subscribe to them, show your support, and as always guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you very soon.
Peace out.
Nice.